This is your experience, my experience, if you're playing Destiny 2, the final shape. You're doing the campaign mission and all of a sudden, Rant error code, maybe in the middle of the mission, maybe at the end of the mission, it doesn't matter, but you will be getting error coded. At least the majority of us out there are. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how this is potentially, and I say this very unfortunately, this is unfortunately one of the worst launches in Destiny's history. Now we have to compare it to some, the bar has been set very, very low when you have to compare it to Rise of Iron or Shadowkeep, for example, if you were around during those launches. But I'm arguing that we're potentially at the worst launch ever, which is really unfortunate considering this is meant to be the victory lap for Bungie. This is meant to be, a sort of triumphant DLC for Destiny 2 right now. And unfortunately, it's just, the story is actually not too bad. Like, the story is actually solid. There's a lot of really good things. It just becomes very difficult to enjoy the story when you're constantly getting error coded with Grant and various other error codes. In fact, there were so many error codes that I wasn't even able to get into the game at all from the moment of reset trying to get in until 4.5 hours later. At the time I'm recording this video, we are now 8 hours into the DLC. We're 8 hours into the final shape. And as you can see here, I'm sitting in orbit once again, looking at probably my 500th Grant error code at this point in time. And obviously, when you go through stuff like this, you do get salty, you're going to get upset. It's hard not to get, you try not to get too upset because you are trying to play the game. And you do know that there's going to be some of this, especially with the launch of a new DLC, but this one's bad. This is really bad. I did not expect it to be this bad, especially because Bungie had been, for previous expansions, actually getting on top of this stuff and getting players into the game much sooner. Now, there's huge implications that are negative when it comes to this as well, not just for the diminishing value of the story, but there's also huge implications for the raid, because the raid comes out in 3 days. And literally the first half of the first day of, maybe almost the entirety of this first day now, especially because not everyone out there is playing this game for 12 hours for the first 3 days, right? Basically, the entirety of the first day is a complete throwaway. Now you're going to have 2 days left in order to get ready for the raid, where you're going to need to level up to a certain level, and you're going to need to finish the campaign in order to get into the raid. And I can't even get through like one mission. It takes me about 2 hours or so to get through one mission because of all of these error codes. And it's really, really tough to see. And it's definitely not what I wanted for the final shape. And I didn't want to make this video. I was hoping that we could be like, final shape is it. Destiny is saved. Destiny 2 potential game of the year. Like, I thought, well, this might be the big moment. I'm not sure if Bungie is dealing with some other issues outside of all of this, like maybe they're dealing with DDoSing or something. I don't know what's going on, but I'll share with you what Bungie has given us thus far. They have their maintenance had begun shortly after at the reset, and then background maintenance continues. We're investigating reports of players logging in and experiencing issues. Right off the bat, they were talking about that. And then they recommended to try restarting their game if you have the issue. Restart your console or launcher, and that would help alleviate the issues. And I obviously restarted many times, so many times to the point where I was just kind of over that. But eventually we did get in the game. And sometimes you get in the game for a short period of time, and then you get kicked out again. And you have to deal with those frustrations. Some people obviously have a really good experience and got in and were able to do a lot. And so I know some of you out there are watching this saying, "Lucky, you're crazy. This was not everyone's experience." Trust me, this was the majority of Destiny players' experience right here. Grant was the majority of the players' experience. I can verify that from all the different posts I've made on Twitter and what everyone's sentiment was. If half the players were having a good experience and half having a bad, it would have been much different on the comments and the interaction ratio of all these posts that I've made. Unfortunately, it's overwhelmingly negative that everyone is experiencing this, or I shouldn't say everyone, but a high majority of people are experiencing this. Then we get another tweet from Bungie Help. More maintenance. The background maintenance has been extended. That was 5 hours ago at the time recording this. And then we have, due to an issue, the ability to swap weapon perks via the API got disabled. And then they said when launching on normal difficulty, players will see the normal difficulty permanently displayed on the launch button. This can be disregarded. So they're having some issues with the launch and the difficulty of that. And then we have continued background maintenance 3 hours ago. And then we have issues with the acquisition of Prismatic, where if you don't complete the transmigration mission and unlock it, then you will have to go back. You'll need to replay the mission solo to acquire the new subclass. So if you don't go in with the team, you're gonna have to go back and do transmutation again, the first mission solo, in order to unlock the subclass. So a bunch of issues with launching the campaign, a bunch of issues with actually unlocking things, error codes along the way, everything else, and then obviously a ton of Cabbage, Crant, and Weasel error codes. And they're giving us a new update. At the time I'm making this video, they're giving us a new update 2 hours from now. So we are, we're, like I said, we're 8 hours deep into this, and we're going to be still experiencing updates and issues even 10 hours deep in the first day of the new DLC of the final shape, which was meant to be a big success for Bungie. Obviously they were, hyping it up, and I was hoping it would be everything that we wanted, but unfortunately this is where we're at. Destiny 2 is borderline unplayable. Let me know if you agree or disagree, what your experience has been down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.